When you're learning how to use grid, it's really good to experiment and play around with how you can span across different rows and columns to get things where you want them to go. But just know that once you get into the production environments, just having random things in random positions on a grid can look a little bit strange. Most of the time, things work better when they sort of go with the way users are expecting them to be, because when you start getting unexpected user experiences, people get a little bit confused. They'll just leave your website. Whenever it comes to your transforms like rotate, translate, and scale, they can definitely come in handy, but you probably don't want to be using them too much. In this case, a rotate of 45 degrees just sort of is weird and unexpected and probably something you didn't need to do in the first place. And when I see something like this come up, I always wonder, were they using transforms or positioning? And in this case, while this one is static, I probably still would have gone with transforms just in case maybe I want to animate it down the road. Then I know I'm going to be able to do that with good performance. Whereas if I was trying to animate my top, left, bottom, and right and all of that, it doesn't always work out so well. It can get a little bit janky. So just thinking in the future of like potential changes I might be making, definitely go with transforms for moving things around into where you need them to be if it's not in the regular flow. Now at times you just will get confused with web development. Strange things happen. One piece of advice I would give you is these days we don't need floats for layout anymore. You might see old tutorials or other things that talk about it, but it's just an outdated way of working these days. So if you do come across a tutorial that's telling you to use floats, I tend to avoid it. Now this is a classic example of when somebody's using positioning without understanding how containing blocks work. And containing blocks are one of those subjects we don't really hear enough about when we're learning the basics of how CSS works, but they're really important. And in this case, things just went completely in an unexpected direction and they have no idea how to fix it. But if they knew how to create a containing block, this problem never would have happened in the first place. And one of the best things that's come along with modern web development has been the gap. We have it with both Flexbox and Grid now, and you want to make sure you're using that instead of margins. It's just a lot more predictable in how it's going to work. You don't have to worry about extra margins forming on the outside of the different elements, and it just helps you create a nice consistent spacing between your different elements. And when you are using it, one thing I've noticed a lot of beginners do is they make the number way too small, so they'll do a gap of like 4 pixels. Or this happens with padding as well, where it'd be like a padding of 4 pixels or something like that. That's a really small amount, and well, it will be perceivable. It's probably not enough. I'd suggest even going much bigger than what you actually need, and then slowly reducing that amount until it's something that's a little bit more comfortable, and you'll probably end up at a really nice number. If you're really not sure, start with 16 pixels and just see where it goes from there.